What up, guys? It's your boy Illinois Valley, and today we're going to do a Magicka Necromancer healer build. That's right, I said healer build. So for all of you that are about to jump out of this video and possibly hit that thumbs down, hear me out. Hear me out for like 2 seconds. I appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. But let me tell you something. We had 400 subscribers on this channel before I posted a single X video, which means I had a little bit of a following as a healer. And I'm telling you, every once in a while, maybe not even every once in a while, I would say almost every build video or every progression video I posted, I would get, when do we get the next healer build? When do we get the next Magcro healer? Hey, can you update your Magcro healer? Hey, did you give up on healing? I get them a lot, which means I have people that are still very much interested in this. I know that you're probably not going to be interested in this, and that's okay. You have gotten accustomed to me being the kitey, bursty DPS player that I am, and that's what you're here for now. But I just want to make sure that I don't forget to throw a little bit of love to the ones that have been there from the start. And I also said when I went to a DPS tune, which I was challenged to do, everybody said that once I hit 810, I had to go to DPS and I had to do certain things, especially Stamplar. That was like the most heavily requested. Oh, I bet you would be terrible at Stamplar, or this, and this. Like, Stamplar is the hardest class. Because I started as a Warden, but they wanted me to do Stamplar because it was harder, yada, yada, yada. I feel like I proved myself enough where I could come back now and show some love to the people that have been here from the start. So thank you for clicking on this video. You can click off it if you want. That's okay. I'll see you at the next video. We'll be right back at our normal scheduling program, which is us kicking some butt. Probably on a Stamplar, because we all know Stamplar is bae. But for this video, we're going to talk about that Magcro healer. Now, with all that said, as we watch this gameplay roll, yes, gameplay. I'm throwing in some gameplay, because that's another one of those comments I get. Where's the gameplay? I have to say right off the bat that I haven't been on a healer for 2 years, and at first it showed because all the skills have changed. All the skill names have changed. And healing itself has just changed. It's I'll give credit where credit is due for ZeniMax. Healing's actually very well balanced. I don't feel like having a single healer in a group, which I know a lot of ball groups run with 3 or 4 healers. But that's not my group. My group, we don't run with no healers for the most part. Like, we're pretty much used to having no healers. But having like just that one healer is really nice to like keep that group pushing forward, you know? So I think healing's actually pretty well balanced now. I know as far as self-healing goes, you feel like that the balance isn't there. But as far as the actual healer build goes, I feel like healing's pretty balanced in that regard. Where do you find the balance between the two of them? I don't know. That's a different discussion for a different day. Just not this build video for sure. But I went through a huge learning curve, spent lots of gold on my CP tree because there's so many CP tree options. I went through a lot of gear setups. I went through a lot of skill changes. I had to level some skills because I just everything's changed. So there was definitely a learning curve, but we worked out the kinks. I played probably 3 weeks on this build before I decided to post this build video. So I'm comfortable, so let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, let's just go ahead and jump into the build. Keep in mind that this is my first healer build in quite some time, so this one might actually be a little longer than we're used to, but that's okay. We'll jump into the character sheet on our back bar. No boss, as is. Front bar. Alright, those are our stats. So we got 64 into mag, and that's it. Everything else is at 0. We are running Sugar Skulls, and we are running the Atronach Mundus Stone for the Magicka Recovery. I think Magicka Recovery on the build is actually insane. I don't think we need as much as we do, so if you would like to do a different Mundus Stone, that's okay. Also, with that said, we are a Breton, so if you don't want to do Breton, which you do not have to, there's lots of different races out there that are just as good for healers. I can name 2 off the top of my head, Argonian and I'm going to say Dark Elf, which might surprise some people, but Dark Elf brings a lot of utility to a healer because you block a lot and that extra stam is just very nice. So, I mean, Dark Elf is really good, Argonian's really good, Breton's really good. But what I'm saying here, though, is what I'm kind of just circling around myself, which I tend to do. I'm a little bit of a rambler, as I'm doing right now. Is obviously your food choice will change, your Mundus Stone will change depending on your race to fill in for the discrepancies that your race is kind of lacking. So just keep that in mind. You might even need to put some attributes in different places as well. Alright, let's jump into the gear. On our front bar, we are running the Master Restoration Staff powered with a disease glyph, which is actually really nice on your resto staff. It's you know, every little bit helps. If you don't know what the master staff does, here you go. There are other options you can do if you're running in a smaller group, say like a 4-man group. The Black Rose is actually a really nice. Let's see if I got it right here. The Black Rose is actually a really nice small scale healing resto, in my opinion. The healing ward just in a small group is so nice, but if you're running in a bigger group, I think Master is the play. It's just really nice. Like, you don't think it would be great until you run it, and then your group's like, ah, dude, feels good. So obviously, if you run the Black Rose, you'll have to change one of our skills that we're running, but that's okay. We'll get into that when we get to skills. On the back bar, we are running Potentates. There's other options here. We're running Powered on the sword and Inpen on the shield. We're running a Stam glyph here. You can run a Mag glyph, but I mean, Stam is a little harder to come by when you're on a Mag class, so I just like to opt for the Stam. Every little bit here and there helps. You can run Defending here as well. There are other options you can run on the back bar, like you can run, like, I don't know, Deathwind Defending and just be very tanky on your back bar, which is a good option. There's other sets out there you can run as well. Potentates is just a nice, it's nice, it just gives you that 3% mitigation. So I like it. You can run poisons. I tend to run poisons, but I actually am running out of poisons on the tune. I just need to switch them over. It's not me being lazy for my build video. Poisons are really just optional. You do a heavy attack on your back bar to get some stam back, but it's nowhere near as often as you're gonna heavy attack on your resto. And you can run poisons on your resto as well, but as you can see, I'm running the disease glyph, which I like a little bit better. So it's really up to you and your playstyle and your group and what you're trying to do. On our head, we're running Earth Gore. This is a flex spot for gear. There's a lot of options for a healer as far as monster sets go. So you can really just pick and choose which one you like. Because I do tend to run in smaller groups, I really like Earth Gore. Like, it's a game changer. Like, yeah, it has a ginormous cooldown, but as it should, because it's so OP that it deserves a long cooldown. But let me tell you, if your group's good enough and you're steady enough, that 20 seconds really isn't that bad. Like, I'm telling you, this thing's a game changer. I have footage. We just watched some of the footage where Earthgore was just coming in clutch because they were doing more damage than they were just out damaging my heals, and I was about to lose a teammate, and then here comes Earthgore clutching it for me. So Earthgore's real nice. I'm a big fan of it. Always been a big fan of it. Even after the nerf, I still thought it was just really good. It just does so many good things for you. I mean, it costs you nothing, and then the 4% healing done even it's just nice. So Earthgore is my choice. We are running 2 heavy and then 5 light. You can do. That's another thing, is you could change that up too. Like, and we'll talk about that here in a second, because we are running Armor Master, on our body. But if you wanted, say, like, if you wanted to be a little tankier, you could run like Pariah, for example, would be a good one. But the problem with Pariah is it's not craftable, so you would have to run it in heavy. So if you wanted to run heavy, you could probably just do 5 heavy, 2 lights, or maybe run one of the pieces jewelry if that's how you had to do it. But I mean, Pariah is a good choice. There's other ones. There's craftable ones like fortified brass you could potentially use. I think you lose a lot of bulkiness with fortified over armor messer. Is definitely, I think, the better choice there. But we are running 5 pieces of armor messer light. Chest is infused with a triglyph. Waist is an in-pen with max mag. In-pen max mag. The legs is also a tri-stat, but it is in-pen. We did not go infused like we normally do here. And then in-pen as well on the boots. All mag, except for the 2 tries. So, doing things a little different. Healer, with a healer build, you just really want to get your resources as good as you can get them. And then on the jewelry, you're running 2 pieces Ancient Grace. Both are arcane, both magic recovery. And then the one piece that you guys are probably scratching your heads right now, like, what? As a healer, you want to be able to move, and Wild Hunt Ring is a really nice touch for that. So we are running it infused with mag recovery, and it's really nice. Like it just kind of fits my playstyle, right? Like you see that I've come a long way since my healer days. I'm this kitey, bursty DPS player now, and then I go back to a healer and I can't leave that kitiness. So I just can't leave it behind because it's so good for me in my playstyle. And a healer really does need to move, because if you get stuck in a bad spot or they're starting to focus you, you need to be able to do some line of sighting. And I'm like, your survival is key. Like, if you're dead, ain't nobody healing no more, right? So Wild Hunt's a really nice touch. And if you do not want to run Wild Hunt, which is fair, another Ancient Grace would be fine. Or like I said, you can maybe run that 1 piece Pariah to get that extra light piece in there. It's really up to you. So that's our gear. Alright, for slottables, like I said, we're running Witch Mothers because I really think stam is really important. This gives you that mag, stam, and health with a little bit of health recovery, which really doesn't matter anymore. You can run Clockwork if you want. You'd have to adjust some things, especially when it comes to stam. You're probably going to want to put some points into stam, which is probably going to diminish your points in health a little bit. I recommend you stay at about 30k. 30k, in my opinion, is probably the lowest you want to go as a healer, and that's where we're sitting, is 30k. You can run normal tri-stats as well. You've got a bunch of them. Why not? The health recovery is not really helping you all that much, and you know, you're actually losing maybe 100 per, so it's really, like, that's fine. If you're really cheap, you can run Witch Mothers. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? For potions, we're just actually running the tri-stats. Pretty much is all I run on all my builds, just because it's all I really need. But honestly, immovables would probably be really good as well. I am actually running really low on those, so that is laziness on my part. But once I release my rant video about how busy I am in my life, you guys will understand. Just bear with me. I don't have a ton of time for ESO right now. We're doing the best we can. Alright, so that's our slottables. Alright, we'll dive into our skills. On our back bar, we are running Resistant Flesh. However, it's a flex spot. I also, if you have somebody in your group who's running Harmony, I highly recommend Unnerving Boneyard, because suddenly your healer, can put out a little bit of DPS, which is nice with a little bit of help. I highly recommend Gravegrasp. This thing just does a lot of work, and it's really nice, and it really helps your team. Like, that major main, or the minor maim, is really nice. That stun, if you catch him in that third, whatever they're calling it here, patch, that stun is just so good. It's so good. So yeah, Gravegrasp is also a really good spot here. The reason why I run the Resistant Flesh here on the back bar is because I realized that I don't really have a heal on my back bar. So when I am in a pickle and I'm blocking and I'm blocking quite a bit, and I don't have time to jump back onto my front bar to throw down a heal, this one's really nice. Like, it's pretty good. I mean, yeah, you're putting yourself in harm's way by putting Defile on you, but your heals are so good that it really doesn't hurt you that much. And then the spell and physical resistance is just, it's nice. It's nothing too spectacular, but it's nice. We are running Dampen Magicka, or Dampen Magic on the back bar and the front bar for the health. You do not have to do this. I just do it because I really like to have it on both bars because it doesn't last very long, so you're constantly hitting it. 6 seconds is not a long time when your brain is trying to do like a million number crunches in a second. That 6 seconds goes real fast. So if I'm looking up and I suddenly see that it's no longer up, and I'm on my front bar, I don't have to switch to my back bar. So that's why I do it. You don't have to do it that way. You can run it front bar, back bar, however you want to do it. But the extra health is nice too. So like, it is what it is. Again, it's up to you guys in your playstyle how you want to do that. We are running Spirit Guardian. You can run the other morph of this if you would like. I just really like the fact that this one lasts a little longer. Yeah, the heal's a little weaker, but I think it actually kind of averages out between time. Like the length that this one runs compared to the other one, it pretty much balances out. If you really do the math, it's very close. And then of course that 10% mitigation, get it where you can get it, guys. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, Race Against Time. You're thinking to yourself, hey, you're running Race Against Time and Wild Hunt? Yes, yes we are. It's really, really good, guys, because honestly, just activating it to remove the snares is just really good. And also, like, again, I talked about the movable pots. Can you rely on Race Against Time? No. In the pots, no, you can't really, because the game's kind of broken right now, and break free isn't really a thing. Wow, it's really active in Cyrodiil right now, isn't it? Getting messages like crazy. But yeah, so Race Against Time, again, just to keep that speed up. It's really nice to have, guys. And of course we have Summoner's Armor. You can run the other morph of this as well if your group wants it. But some groups may not want it because they don't want that DPS or that bomber or whatever getting pulled into your group. So you might want to just check with your group and decide if that's what you guys want to do. This one's nice because it does have a little bit of cost reduction to my Spirit Mender. It's a nice little bonus. It is what it is. So on my back bar, I'm running Renewing Animation. And this is a flex spot. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. This is a flex spot. You can run like Barrier or Sword and Board All or Warhorn, whatever. It's up to you. I tend to like this Renewing Animation because it has changed a few fights. Like we've had a couple of our DPS go down, and we really need them because they're like our pushers, our heavy hitters. And I just switch to my back bar, buff up, and drop it. And then switch over quickly and start putting some of my hots down on the ground. And then they can res into my hots. It's really nice. It's what really kind of makes the Mag Crow healer kind of stand out on its own. Because it doesn't do anything really great, but it does a lot of things really well. And this is the one thing it does that none of the other healers can do. And that's bring people back from the dead instantly. Like, you're not sitting there trying to res them. You're just like, oh, done. They're up. We're back in the fight. On the front bar, we are running the Colossus here, and again, this is kind of more like what your group wants, and you're not running it for the damage per se. You're just running it for that second line there, and it's the major vulnerability to any enemy hit by 12 seconds, increasing the damage taken by 10%. That's really all you're running it for. You're not really looking to do a lot of damage. Have I killed some players that were low health? Yes, I have. And it's funny to kill players on a healer build. But, again, it's that second line. And even the stun, too, is really nice. If you don't want to run the Colossus, you can run your Resto alt here. You know, I don't think anybody's going to complain with that. Or Barrier again. You can run Barrier again. It's really up to you. But I really like Colossus. We're running Renewing Undeath. This is actually a really nice heal. It's a really nice hot. Once your Spirit Mender and your armor hit the ground, or you make some dead bodies, you throw this down and you're not only healing, but you're removing negative effects, which kind of acts as a purge, which as a Templar you have in your toolkit, but as a Necro, you have it as well. And this one actually removes 3, where I'm pretty sure now that they nerfed the Templar, it only removes the 1, so you're actually a step ahead on this one, so that's kind of nice. We are running the Blessing of Restoration. This is like a must, I think, now in any PvP healer. It's really nice. The heal's nice. Everything's nice about this skill. Really OP. we are running Radiating Regenerations. These names have changed since I've been a healer. That's kind of crazy to me. But this is like just a cheap skill that runs like it's a hot. It runs. It's nice. 3 seconds. Lots of healing. Very nice. Of course, we talked about the dampening, and then we are running Illustrious Healing, which is I think is Healing Springs back in the day. I'm not really sure. Like I said, they've changed the names. I haven't been a healer in 2 years, so. But this is that flex spot we were talking about. If you do run the Black Rose over the Master, then of course you're going to want to switch it over to Healing Ward. And those are our skills. As far as passives go, you want all of the standards. You can get all the Sword and Board ones if you want. I find that the Sword and Board's really for me is just to be that extra tanky and for the extra blocking, which the Sword and Board passives are going to help you with, along with your CP. And then, as you can see, mine's not completely leveled, which is crazy to me because I played my Magicka healer for so long. I just can't believe I didn't actually reach 50 on my Sword and Board. It's whatever. We'll get to it. We'll get her done. And then, of course, you're going to want all your restos, your lights, your heavies. I went to medium because that's what I'm used to. And then concentrated barrier, assault support, your racials, and medicinal use. And those are all your passives and your skills. Alright, so before I dive into this champion points, I just want to note that there are quite a few slottable champion nodes that you can use as a healer that are just very, very good. So what I'm about to show you is just kind of what I like, or what I found worked for me. I highly recommend that you kind of just skip this part, to be honest, and just test all of the different nodes, because some of them are good, but I felt like the ones I'm using just kind of, for me, felt better. And so that's what I'm going to say about that. And then we'll just say we're using Hope's Infusion, Soothing Tide, Duelist Rebuff, and Unassailable. But I mean, Swift Renewal, Arcane Supremacy, they're all really good. There's some more in there that are really decent. I highly recommend trying them all. For the Red Tree, Boundless Vitality, Ironclad, Rejuvenation, and Survival Instincts, which is actually, I think, the exact same as almost all my builds, if I remember correctly. And they're just all about sustaining, which is really nice, except for Ironclad, which just gives you a little bit of bulk. And then, like I said in my last build video, we're going to skip the green tree just to save time. War Mount is really all you're looking for in a PvP tune. And that's going to do it for our CP. Alright guys, also just want to note that some of our buffs are in combat. So when you were looking at my stats, you'll note that they weren't fully buffed. I wasn't fully buffed. If that's something you guys are really that concerned about, I can post a update video or pictures in my Discord of the tune fully buffed. It's really up to you guys. Link from my Discord will be in the description. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I want to thank everybody that's held on to my YouTube channel with the idea that one day I would release another healer build video. Thank you. Like, that's actually really cool, and you're the reason why I did this. Also, I want to note that there are other skills that are very, very good that we didn't even talk about, such as your healing tether and whatnot. The Mad Crow is a surprisingly good healer class. It really is. So, thank you again, guys. We're at 720 subscribers. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.